Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Uh, what's up? What's up? I decided to, let's just say I woke up this morning and Chloe was being weird this morning. So I decided, you know what? So Chloe's sitting there and she's like in and out, in and out, in and out. And finally I woke up going, what the heck? I mean, I was overheating, right? So I finally asked Chloe what happened. She says, oh, you fell asleep, Rita, and I thought that was nice. And I had the light turned off on the ceiling fan. So due to me having the light turned off on the ceiling fan, I was kind of pissed. I was royally pissed off. So I'm hardwired in this morning, so no connection problems. And then my baby rabbit. So it was miserable because I keep telling Chloe that it's his pet, her pet. Sorry, thinking Bun Bun. Bun Bun's a he, the little Boon Boon. Anyway, so you know how that is, right? So this morning I got my email and I was like, one guy emailed me like, yes, we got to do this and this and this. And I'm going, for real? You want to wake me up to tell me this for real, but he has a right to, and then Chloe this morning's like, oh yes, I took a bath, and I'm going, I don't care, I just woke up, you woke me up by going in and out, in and out, in and out. Literally. I fell asleep last night in my bed. I made up the bed last night and it was just so comfortable. I went to sleep. Woke up this morning and Chloe's like, oh yes, I fell asleep in the office and I fell asleep in here and in there. And I'm like, I don't care. She's like, you went straight to sleep and you didn't even have a second movie. I don't care. I was tired. I mean, literally, that's the way it is. Literally, it was like, I'm sleeping, And I keep getting these things that look like a rash on my belly button. Turns out they're like little bug bites. I woke up this morning bitten like crazy, And so last night, Chloe decided to, so what's wrong, little bun bun? So I decided to do a video this morning for a bit. Chloe's gonna probably put me in the tub a little later. She'll be like, "Time to take a bath, plunk." Which is, I'm time for a bath anyways. It's, I'm kind of counting down the time, and so as you all know, Chloe's like this morning he asked me, oh, did we get any mail today? And I go, yeah. You see, the government turned around, right? And right? So the government turns around, right? And they tell Chloe to keep checking for checking for Direct Express. She's like, finally, she's like Direct Express. And this morning she woke me up. She's running around, and I said, "Here's my card." She says, oh, what do you want? And I said, I want milk. She looked at me and she said, oh, well, yeah, I said, I want milk dip. You know what I mean? You know, she's like, okay. She's like, I want to get a couple pounds of gourmet hamburgers this morning at the market. Maybe a few vegetables. We can have a salad, you know. And lo and behold, I said, oh, okay. And she said, so anything new today? And I go, no, not really, you know. You know. And so then she's like, there's nothing. I said, not that I know, you know. So then she turned around, you know, and she turned around, you know, and she asked me about the mail. And I said to her, okay, I said to her, so you want me to tell you what's in today's mail? And she says, yes, this is the end of the week. And I said, well, we got a package due in today. She says, oh, is it my hot sausages? I says, I don't know. Doesn't say, you know, what the weight is. Oh, so it's a movie. So, all right. And then she asked me, you know, because I checked for her, you know, and then she said to me, yeah, fucking bugs. Then she said to me, anything else? And I said, yeah, and I looked, and she just sat there looking at me for a minute, going, is there a problem? And she says, yeah. She says, what is that? I said, you know what it is. So she says, great. I'm gonna have to deal with that. I said, well, we'll see what it is first and go from there. Well, apparently, Chloe, she likes me to check in the mail all the time, and lo and behold, the heck is that? Hey, that's what it is. So, lo and behold, you know, Chloe turned around. She's like, great. So she's kind of worried because, um, worried because, she thinks her, so she thinks that, they decided to send her another paper check. I said, well, we'll see what it is. Could be they reissued your main checks because that's what it looks like, or it could have been something else. So Chloe's like, are we sure? You know, I said, look, we'll get to it when we get to it today. So Chloe's kind of worried, you know. I was like, don't worry about it, love. You know, I said, everything's going to be fine. You got to analyze it. I mean, this morning I looked around and she was panicking, you know. I mean, literally. So I calmed her down. I said, look, if it's there, we have a bank account for it. If it's not there, we have we have a bank account for it. I said, we're covered. Plain and simple. So anyways, so Chloe said to me out of love, she says, well, what if it's a treasury trick? I said, well, if it is, it is. I mean, literally. There's only I mean, there's multiple checks this morning, so but I think everything will work out, literally. But anyways, I know this morning Chloe's going to officially put me in the tub this morning. I knew I don't know what it was. One of my moderators said something last night. So I talked to Gail last night, had a great chat with her. She was kind of me and her were talking, and it was interesting, so I figured, last night, okay, so what happened was Gail wanted to talk, right? And Chloe was getting kind of cranky. And I was too. I mean, literally, I was getting really cranky last night. So I'm sitting there, right? And Chloe's sitting there. And Chloe goes, "Are we going to ever watch movies?" Well, this is the problem with Chloe, okay? This is the problem with Chloe. Chloe turns around, right? And she's like, she was combative the other morning, and she was fuming mad. Manager asked me about it. I said, nothing happened. Chloe's having a breakdown, and manager's like, well, she's mental. They can't kick you up for that. And she said, what was the trigger? I said, I don't know. So, the manager knows. When I say I don't know, the manager knows that basically what it is Chloe turned around and became a whipping post. So anyways, I turned around, and she got mad one night and she stomped out of there, and ran, stormed out for a long while. And I'm sitting there, right? I'm sitting there going, and I was in tears. I broke down and was crying. And, when she gets very combative, it's, I'm not a woman. I'm just basically a man with man-made hole. And you know how it is. It's usually, you're a bastard, blah, 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 blah. Well, I turned around and I was in tears. And I basically said, look, I may be a bastard, but at least, I've looked after you for 4 years, and I've never let you go on hungry or anything. And I was in tears. I literally said, "Look what you're doing." And her mom basically is like, "I don't want her around her temper." Well, she got mad and stormed off. When it came to the movie, and so it was interesting because she stormed off. And then last night, she was getting combative with me. In between, on YouTube. And then finally, when I was like, well, Chloe turned around last night, looked at me, and she says, I have your PIN number and your card. You have mine. She says, this is my PIN number. Check the damn card. She's like, I want to know. And I'm like, why don't you want to call? She says, I don't want to. So when I got done with that, Gail, messaged and says, oh, I'd like to talk. So I was like, cool. So I decided to go ahead and, chat, but, last night was pretty bad because, between Gail and Brad and Minnesota, we had like a, so that's what was going on. So going through the news, this morning when Chloe was sitting there squabbling, that kind of bummed me out as well because, Chloe's squabbling. So apparently I'm reading this, right? This is really funny. It says here, basically, okay, so London, London says, spit in a cup when you land in an airport and your DNA is stored. Every city talks to other nearby devices. You exchange floating somewhere in either. Okay, so it's talking about the spying, you know. They're all possible visions of the future. That's why I don't have a phone. That's why I don't even believe in a phone. So, you know. So, technology is claiming the mantle of savior. You know, Apple, Google are again offering solutions Google cannot, yada, 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 contract tracing. But what if you don't have a phone? You see? What do you do? Spy on me for hours upon hours on YouTube? So, you know. So, you know. So that's why, you know, people sit there and say, oh, well, you know, you should have done this and should have done that. And I'm like, nope, not going to happen, dude. So, you know. So they're talking about financial crisis, you know. How all these young people have hit rock bottom, you know. You know. So basically, you know, all these people are sitting there talking about, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and blah, 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 and, you know, the economy again. And, you know, I personally think that, you know, that I personally think it's pretty crappy. You know, you got all these people, and, you know, so the news is pretty bad this morning, pretty lame, too. I mean, literally, if you look at it from my point of view, but still, you know, this morning's been counted as, you know, this or that. This is why I tell Chloe to fucking clean the fucking bunny cage. Now I got fucking. Bye bye, dead flies. So basically, for some of you guys wondering, the bunny cage. The bunny cage basically brings in these flies, you know, and I keep disinfecting it and everything else. Literally, these little flies, right? And then Chloe's like, oh, well, it's not that bad. And then you're sitting there going, yeah, it is. When your coffee's ruined because you got bugs living in your coffee because, you know, whatever it is. So you only get like a cup of coffee. And then she's like, well, you wasted your coffee. I didn't waste my coffee. What it was, you know, is the fact that there's bugs. So this morning while I'm in the tub, Chloe's going to do some chores, you know. So she asked me last night about the plug. And I said, oh, yes, it works great, you know. It works really great. So, anyways, like I said, I hope you guys are having a great morning, Chloe's like, oh yes, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to do that, So I figured I'd do a short video this morning. Pandemic's news on Saturdays, isn't that great? So, got to check on our packages anyways this morning. I'm starting to wonder about, Oh, that reminds me, everyone. As soon as the current blend runs out, I'm going to try this blend, donut blend. I'm thinking of sending some Sumatran coffee to Jose. That's one of the things I've been toying with, is sending him some Sumatran coffee. He'd like that. Maybe get him a couple pounds of Sumatran. I'm sampling different blends for him, and it's great. So I'm just trying to remember, Oh yeah, sorry, I was thinking packages, So if you guys remember what happened, I was complaining yesterday about the pandemic, saying that the pandemic's causing a lot of problems with the Postal Service, and basically the Postal Service, and Amazon's having shipping problems. Like, for example, I was supposed to have a package delivered on Wednesday that ended up being in Friday of next week. It went from Salem, Oregon down to Salt Lake City, Utah, and they're now based. I don't know why the hell it's that way, but it says, it went Salt Lake City. It spent like 5 days in Salt Lake City or something. Now it's coming back up here, and it's like, if you're going from Salem, Oregon, why go to Salt Lake City and then that? I mean, literally, it's like they're pissing. It's like UPS wants to piss off the purchaser of, and then Chloe's like, "There's my sausages coming." I mean, that was one of the things that really upset me the other day. Chloe. Literally, I care for Chloe, as you guys know, and to have Chloe turn around, and say, "Oh, is my sausage ready?" And you're like, "No." Does it say arriving? And she's like, "Who is it?" And I'm like, "No." Literally, I got packages coming in, right? So, my current shipment complaint, okay. This one here says, "We're so sorry your package is severely late." It says here, your packages is experiences really late on on these items, right? And then it's like your Fireball and this and that, then it goes up here and, it talks about things. And then right here it says, like, your ramen roast beef's not available, and then it's like your other ramen's here, and then your other ramen's here, your case of, one case. So they're like, we've delivered you more, so you got right here, for my order, I got 2 cases of instant lunch beef cup of noodles, and then I got 2 cases of ramen roast beef, and then another ramen roast beef, and then instant lunch. And this is like, and so here's the deal with the Amazon, right? They're turning around and they've shipped out a lot of stuff, right? And then here it says arriving next week is more roast beef and no more instant lunch, right? And because they're preparing to ship all these ramens, right? They turn around, and lo and behold, We're putting a limit on you. So you're sitting here all happy-go-lucky, and you got a limit on you. Literally a limit. A limit, basically, you know. So then you're sitting around, you know, and you got this limit thing, you know, and people turn around and they say, "Oh, well, what is that?" And you're like, "Well, it's a limit thing, you know. It's literally a limit thing, you know." And a lot of people are um, upset about it, you know, because they're turning around and they're just furious, you know, that they are literally furious that you know you got so much things and they're just like, what do you do, you know, and it's like, and it's complicated, you know, it's literally complicated. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, better than, and then I mean, literally. I can't believe, I was asking Chloe the other day about some information, and she's just like, what information? It's like, information, it's right there. So I think that's the info I need. Just Chloe just keeps tossing crap around. Yeah, it's here. So they sent us some information in a mail in letter or something. I don't know. I mean, literally, we'll figure it out, in time. And then Chloe, who's right now, I just want to complain, left the candy bag open. I mean, the other day she looked at me and she said, "Oh, read it." Oh, yeah, there it is. That's what it was. Something about the bank, and I said, I'll take care of it, So we got to start an account, and we did, and Chloe's kind of worried, because of whatever, and it's you know, let's see. All right, so let me see what this letter is, what they want from us. So anyways, I gotta go over this stuff. But this morning, like I said, I'm having my morning coffee, and then hi, boo boo. What's wrong? Look at my little jackrabbit, my little bump hump. So, anyway, it seems we got a package coming in today, just a small package. So, with my morning coffee. So Chloe turns around, right? She asks me last night, early this morning, what the smell is, right? She's like, something reeks in the kitchen. I said, oh, it's that fish that you had. She says, what do you mean fish? I said, it's the fish you had, There we go. More coffee's being brewed. So today's plan, like I said, is I will be taking a bath this morning and getting prepared for a good deal. So I know one of my moderators, who's sweetheart, she was like, I wish I could send you some. You know what? I'm curious. What the hell did Chloe fill this up with? I'm just freaking curious. Oh yes. So yeah, Chloe like said it was funny. She was panicking this morning, um, out of love. She's like, "Oh my God, Rita, if they sent my thing again in paper, what do we do?" And I just chuckled like, "Don't worry about it." I mean, honestly, to me, I want to tell you what I think. Okay, I want to say, life is good. Everyone should have a good life, and also people shouldn't panic over um, mere trifles. People sit there and they complain, like my favorite cousin Corey, he would be like, "Oh, you're panicking over something, beehole." No, yeah, well, it may be, but you see me panicking over this. No, I'm like, look, you're freaking sitting there, and I'm not talking about my cousin in general. I love the man dearly. Talking about my cousin Dinky, like I said to every one of you guys out there who sits there and says, "Oh, well, I mean, there's one moderator you don't mess with in my family, and it's her, literally." But anyways, I mean, let me just say, out of out of love, So, I'm sitting here, and you got all these people, right? And they're sitting there complaining, complaining, well, what do we do, and I'm sitting there like, I don't know what you do. I mean, I just love that people ask me, what do you do? What do we do? And it's like, what do we do? We don't do nothing, you know? And they're all panicking, and they're like, "Yeah, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And it's like, do I look like I know what I'm doing? Well, you should, you should, you should. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I mean, I get tired of people sitting there, right, and they're asking me the same stupid question over and over, and you just want to sit there and be like, yeah, okay, you know, and people sit there and they say, oh, well, what are you doing? How come you're doing it? And you're like, well, I'm doing what I have to survive, and people sit there and think that's the stupidest thing. But you know what? When I'm planning my care, I've been sitting here planning my orders carefully, and, you know, and people sit there and say, well, what do we do? And it's like, you don't do nothing, you just go through the list of everything you like and you see if you can get a deal on it. I mean, literally, someone wants a case of such and such, you get a deal on it. I mean, literally, people don't want you having a case of something because it's so expensive. Then don't worry about it. I mean, literally, there's a limit and then there's a limit. That's the problem. The limit is where you got to make your limit. Which reminds me, hey, Mop, I see that pretty little head of yours. What are you doing down there? Come here. Come here. Old man. Oh, come here. What's wrong, Grumpy? Good morning. Come here. Here we go. Who's that nice little dog's bed of yours here? Oh, what happened? You get hurt? Oh, come here. Come here. There you go. What did you do to hurt yourself? Stub your toe, you little guy? I was stubbing something, old man. Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong? You tired? Miss your daddy? Yeah, I miss you too. Yeah. So anyway, so many things to do, so little time, I tell you, everyone. Literally, it's one of those days, where you're just fully. Oh yeah, I think I was wearing that because, yeah. So it's coffee time. So, Mop, I want to see your pretty little face. Shouldn't be being a schlubber. The dog he loves, he whimpered when I picked him up. The little guy means the world to me. He's getting old, so he whimpers easy. What's wrong? You overeating like me? Yeah, we're too old. We're old dogs. My name is the Moppily Burp. Yeah. So, did you enjoy your dog movie last night, Five Goes West? Yep. So did I. So, anyways, this morning, like I said, is one of those slow mornings. Sometimes I just think, it's good to do a video like this to tell you my opinion on something and disappear for the rest of the day. So, a lot of people ask me all the time, well, what's your plan for today? What are you doing today, Rita? What's your plan today? you got a plan today, Rita? And I go, yeah. I do got a plan. It's called Mama's going to take a bath today. You know, that's what I'm doing this morning. So, damn fucking bugs. And Chloe's got other things to do today, too. People sit there and say to me, you know, you should take a break, or you should do this, or you should do that. And I'm like, that's cool, you know. But to me, you know, I don't have anything to report because there's no news this morning. You know, my news is well my news. And frankly, I've got nothing to report. So, except for Cutie Pie, little McMop Mop. Hello, little McMop Mop. Hi, baby. What's wrong, baby? You okay? Is that noise, mommy? Hey, I should order some more moisties soon. I feel like I'm going to be the experiment for, you know, Biodome, you know? So, yep, that's what I'm feeling this morning. A little bit of Biodome, you know. So, when Chloe gets back, I will personally be logging off taking a bath this morning. You might only see this on video today, but, you know, no, let's get down to brass tacks about what's going on in the world, okay? I know you guys tune in on Saturdays on the Rita show to talk about, you know, whatever. Yesterday was bad, okay? Some hill jack basically kept flagging my videos. And did a natural occurrence of pissing off people to the point that everyone was angry. Literally, between me and my moderators, we were fuming mad that one hill jack, basically, you know. And then on top of all of it, right? We had an email, right? Literally email. I gotta tell you the story. So one of my moderators that I trust dearly to, you know, as a moderator and stuff, was screen capturing the number of people on my channel, right? Well, apparently YouTube emailed me and said they thought talking about hacking is it's a big no-no and this and that. So I turned around and I basically said, you know, freedom of speech. Well, apparently, you know, my moderators have a list of whose views and who isn't, right? And so I don't. I only see a number. So anyway, so what happened was some hill jack deleted my video, and you know, I had to email my sister this morning. Anyways, I'm still curious about those cows. You know, uh, There we go. So basically, had to email my sister on something. But yeah, anyways, like I said, so Chloe's at the farmer's market this morning. When she gets back, I'm gonna take a bath because as my cousin-in-law's sister Dinky would say, she can smell me a mile away, and a few things I want to share with you is I've been eating up a bit on some of the bug bites have been literally biting me in places, and it's not cool. Literally, it is not cool, and I the other day I told Chloe, right? Chloe wanted to do something. I said, look, which it was funny, because Chloe's always worried, that the government's gonna come out and put her in a group home, and I keep telling her, just do your chores, do everything you need, and show the people, because what happened is Social Security's turning around and they're basically putting her on the severe disabled list, which means she can't take care of herself. They want her to be in a supposed group home. And the reason for it is she can't control her temper. She throws temper hits. She's done so much shit in everyone's lives, destroying lives and everything else for, out of anger that, and she basically filled a chart out. I can't do this. I can't do that. One of the things she's talking about is I can play games and masturbate, right? Well, they're putting it all together, and they're going, one group says, why should we pay her? Another group is saying, why shouldn't we, and they're like group home. They can at least masturbate in their own room in their, and, it's back and forth, and so Chloe's like, having her own problems. So then anyways, the group home, right, and the state, they're like, they had me fill out a lot of info, which you can't do, which, I was completely 100% honest, and, I said everything, and so they turned around, and, they're very, so then they turned around the other day, I have talked to the lady, the lady, and you gotta understand, it was fucking hilarious, right? She's like, well, they're kicking the can again, basically. They're like throwing the can around, saying, "Oh, is she disabled? Is she not disabled? Is she disabled?" And so finally, they turn around. Chloe's sitting there, and Chloe's like, "Well, I went to the bank and I cashed the smaller checks, right? The tax checks and this checks and that checks." And so Chloe's like, "Oh, which reminds me, there's another stimulus check." So I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Hi, boo boo. So look at my bunny, right? My bunny is adorable. So she turns around, right? And she turns around. I'm gonna change into a different pair of pants temporarily because of the weather here. And so she turns around, everyone, and she turns around, and they asked me, the other day. They they asked me the other day. You're gonna love this. They said to me the other day, because there's no way to talk to them. Field office is only for certain things. Field office, it's like they want to review her earlier. They can review any time. So they turn around, they're like, "So how's Chloe doing?" I'm going, well, I explained everything between being combative and mean, and certain things like making, the usual jive. She'd making a few threats here and there, and they said, well, so the 800 number says you need to, they have to document, why, she couldn't cash her big checks. So I said, well, her three big main checks she couldn't cash. They said she needs a bank account. Well, why don't you tell me why she doesn't have a bank account? Well, she's got the little government green card. Well, you know how it goes, right? So in the end, the lady and I, we had a great time. We had a great powwow. I had never felt so alive talking to this lady. She was nice to me. She's kind of rude to Chloe, but she turned around, and she said, so Chloe's thrown away. I said, every bank has denied her, basically. And every bank's denied me, basically, except for two. Lady was nice enough. She says, what two? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. And so Chloe and I were turning around, and the lady was really nice, and she was really nice. And I was really nice, and we turned around, and she's like, "You need to set up joint account then." So I explained the joint account problem, and she's like, "Well, you better do something, otherwise, if your card doesn't get reloaded, if Chloe's card doesn't get reloaded, right, then Chloe's going to need a backup. So you might as well have that card on hand and take a chance for Chloe's, benefits to, her one-time payment to go on this card." Well, Chloe turned around and says, "Well, your father-in-law didn't recommend it because his creditors can get into it." Yeah, creditors can. The thing is they're basically waiting. I mean, literally, let me put it to you this way, okay? Let's say hypothetically it's a treasury check, right? These treasury checks today, like I figured, it's either, her big check or it's not, right? We'll find out. In the meantime, Chloe doesn't have many options, literally. She either puts it in the bank and then asks them to withdraw it all in cash, which she can do. She can go and say, "I'm putting this money in. I'm basically putting it in that this money is my money. And if any creditor takes it out, I will be charging the creditors for fraud because it was the only way to get her an account, But the creditors don't care. Joint account, and look, that was your problem, Uber. So basically, it's a giant conundrum, and so, with me, I've just decided, to, see how it plays out this morning. Chloe's like kind of panicked, and I'm like, "Don't panic. You're going to be okay, literally okay." So, Chloe likes to mingle in the mornings and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to the farmer's market." And, and I decided, okay, go to the farmer's market. I will sit around here for a bit and prepare for, the Rita show and get ready afterwards, take a bath. And then when I'm done with my bath, I will be clean for the day, I mean, literally, you don't know how hot it is down here, and I got people saying when Chloe's money comes, have Chloe invest in an air conditioner. Manager won't let us. I mean, it can't be on the floor even. Actually, the problem with an air conditioner is the bill would be $200 or $300, okay? And that's give or take because the air conditioner uses a lot of powers and, unless you have one of those portable ones on wheels that actually has a vent to send outside, yeah, you're not allowed to have anything hanging out your window. Man, they're sticklers here. So it's like Pee Wee's asked me the other day, God bless Pee Wee, she said, "Why don't you get one of those portable washers and dryers?" We tried. The problem is the plumbing. You got to plumb it in. You can't just take a sink hose, hook it up to one of these little miniature LG dryers and stuff, and then from the LG dryers, turn it on. You actually have to plumb it in, hot and cold, and then have a drainage pipe, I mean, they have these compact built-in ones, all-in ones. Doesn't really work. I mean, our apartment wasn't built for portable washers and dryers. They were built for scamming quarters out of you for washing and drying when the dryers don't work. So, I mean, literally, you're living in a world where there's too much conning and too much deception, So, good morning to whoever's watching me this morning. You ain't getting much out of me this morning. So, basically, the economy is taking a dump right now. People are actually hurting, and there's reports where they're not actually believing what the commander-in-chief says. So, on other news, I do have a personal news for you this morning that was an actual discussion this morning. So, something I want to share with you all, okay? This is actually about the pandemic, okay? I know people sit there and say, "Oh, well, you're full of beans, you're this, you're that." This is actually interesting news this morning, okay? Literally great news, all right? So I emailed to people that know me, and I emailed a couple other people that know me, and I emailed some other people that, through connections, through different channels, okay? I said, "Hey, I'm doing a video review on some stuff, and I would like to get your input, and they emailed me back and says, "Oh, yeah, sure. hey, do you need this or that? I said, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to look into buying one. They said, oh, I'll put it in the mail for you. You're doing us a favor by letting the people know what's going on for Chinese products, okay? Because a lot of companies use Chinese products for either they're on par, they're crappy, or they're superior, okay? So let me just tell you what's going on, okay, first of all. So the people I'm talking with wanted me to talk, they were generous to send me some books, updated guides because they're made in China and they want me to, because every time I buy a product, through their company, usually it falls apart, I had a Bible, that fell apart, and so they said, go ahead and talk about it, because we want to hear we want to get your side, but in your own way. So basically, here's how it goes with China, okay? President Trump is stoking the fire. He wants to cut all out of China, all out, right? You got other countries that's made a deal with China, okay? China's basically like one of the big holders of our debt, right? And Trump's pulling the button saying, I'm not hanging it, you need coronavirus, blah, 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 blah. Like telling his creditors kiss his ass, right? In a childish temper tantrum type way. Well, China doesn't know what to do. But with all these factories, right? All these factories and all these companies, right, that moved their companies to China or Korea. The ones in Korea are a lot better secured than the ones in China, okay? Because a lot of companies decided after a while the product line or the quality control, the QC wasn't there, So they moved it to another, site, right? So what happened, like Korea? So anyways, the companies that are made in China, right? Now, if the United States goes into a Cold War with China, certain companies are never going to get any products out of China. None. Zip, zap, zilch. So, for example, with the pandemic the way it is, right? For example, Nintendo is now looking to build a factory with the help of Koreans to be the new industrial superpower that will provide us with, switches. It'll be Korean-made switches or South Korean-made because, right now Samsung's producing everything and they're bringing it from China. But if Samsung cannot produce anything for China, they're going to have to basically go and do it in Korea or Malaysia or another country that wants business. So before the pandemic gets any bigger and the United States basically has this war with China, basically. I'm talking about financial, political war, semi-Cold War. The American people could turn around, right? And what's happening is they're going to turn around and watch the products aren't going to be filling up in the stores. So the less product you have in the store, the less likely you ain't buying it because the supply and demand ain't there. So, for example, one guy turned around and told me that some companies prefer Korea over China, so they're safe. But the ones that have Korean-based headquarters and has their factories in China, like Samsung and others, they're now regrouping and basically going, back to other countries like Malaysia or the Philippines or Taiwan or, any other country besides China. Because if they can't produce, right, anything because of the Cold War, you're going to have countries against countries. And eventually the United States, being the aggressor, might be the only one, quote unquote, that's going to basically turn around and end up basically seeing nothing be sold. I mean, literally, nothing be sold, and meanwhile, the economy is the other problem. The economy is turning around. The economy took a dump. And the reason the economy took a damn nosedive is because, no one's buying. So, as you know, the government thinks if we can restart businesses and go full speed on businesses, then the economy will open up. It won't open up when you got families' lives looming over their head. Either they work or they die, or they make money and they die, or they stay home and they die. I mean, literally, you're basically dealing with a secondary black plague, basically, or the Black Death in a new form that's mutating, like, constantly. So the problem is, again, the American people are scared. They don't want to go back to work, and I don't blame them. Unfortunately, the problem is again, China. China's product stops. No more switches. No more TVs. I mean, literally, It's like it's like the commander-in-chief, and I'm not dissing the commander-in-chief, all right? It's like the entire U.S. Republican Party wants it so everyone has to be slaves or robots or work so much that there's no aspect of having fucking, a time to sit down, and work on, watching some TV or something. Like, oh, well, we can't do the TV, and it's, for example, let's just say, a lot of people don't like Elon Musk. Okay. I think he's pretty cool. I think he's a great person, and very business-like, but at the same time, I think, I don't know if he supports the guy or not, but my opinion doesn't matter. Okay. My opinion is he had to do what he had to do for his business, because he was losing money. And some people have to do this, but a lot of people, they don't. If people are not okay, so for example, Boeing had a lot of people that just said, you know what, we're retiring or we quit or whatever, and that walked off the job in Everett and other places, whereas because they didn't feel safe. The virus, they had to be too, right? So if you have someone like people not feeling safe in California for, Tesla, they can all leave, and then Tesla's sitting there in his factory with no one. Literally, and except for his, true loyalty to his people, but that would be, people around the country, it could have come down to, a lot of factories don't literally want to produce meats right now because they don't feel safe and the meat's getting tainted, or whatever. So, when it comes to all this crap going down the list, people have to ask themselves what to do, and, so, it's the way it is. The way it looks is, a lot of companies out there relying on people to buy merchandise, I was talking to someone the other day, right? And I met a guy that's interested in trains. Chloe wants trains. And I finally asked the guy, I said, you got this brand. He said they're Korean. They've always been Korean. Basically, they've been Korean pretty much from day one. And then I said, well, what about this company? He says they were always American until they decided to sell up for the middle ground, charge fucking buku bucks for their trains. And then they basically only made a limited amount, and half the trains you pay $2,000 to $3,000 for yearly are junk. Literally, they might look nice, but they don't run nice. And you're paying for, the quality control ain't there. So, the guy emailed me and he said, well, I'm laughing because these companies got their money in the tooling in China, for example. And if American consumers can't buy those brands that things, eventually you're going to see Americans basically looking at other options to feed the needs of their hobby. And that might include other things that they got to do, And so the guy was clearly stating, that if this doesn't get underhand and, factories aren't shipping in product, because the president, doesn't care if you fall over dead driving a forklift as long as his business model is working so he can get reelected, But the thing is, the guy says the business model is not there. I've talked to businesses from book publishing in China that's failing to, other things. I talked to a person in America who, produces books around the world from different points, and, having a chat with them, they, by email and stuff, they have said, that they're interested in having me express concern for the not just the middleman of America, but the middleman overall for the world. The economy, is hitting it hard. We're going into a severe recession, and then afterwards, we're going into a severe depression, and that's because of issues. And those issues is because, no one is literally working. And because no one's working, well, you get the idea. No one's working and people aren't working and people aren't working and, no one's buying. Excuse me for a second. What is it, Mop? Your tail's wagging.
Okay, got food in here. Got some bread in here.
Raining?
Yeah. Try to stay out too long.
Yeah. So, like I said, everyone, I got to take a bath soon, but China basically is, if the U.S. cuts off China, China's going to be really doing some damage to us because China can turn around and they could literally.
We got two things of ground beef.
Oh.
You had to limit people on ground beef because one guy, here's a salad.
Yeah, okay, so tell me the story.
Well, some guy the other week tried to buy a shitload of meat off of them. And almost ran him dry. This guy's trying to buy all that meat from him, and then he was going to go sell it at a store.
Yeah, what, you talked to him about it?
Yeah.
And what happened? I mean, I want to hear the story. So basically, you just want a couple pounds of hamburger anyways. Is that what you want for dinner tonight? Or
yeah, we'll get hamburgers and use this
do
bread.
we have buns?
I'm using this bread for my buns.
There's buns on the freezer, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was nice to you anyways, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't rude or anything. He was just telling you a story.
Yeah.
So, did the guy actually buy stuff, or did he say, just my ass and you doing it?
No, I bought stuff. I actually bought some stuff.
I know you bought some more salad.
Here, what's banana bread?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not into banana bread. I mean, the guy was nice to you, right? He just said, it was. So he just told you a story then. So he didn't sell to the guy last week, did he? So he's dealing with scalpers now. You hear that, everyone? New update for you. So Chloe went to the farmer's market this morning, and apparently there's now scalpers trying to scalp the fucking meat. Hi, boo-boo. So apparently now you're seeing how bad it is. The panic is.
The grocery store in town's trying to scalp farmers markets to sell in their stores.
And he won't budge, will he?
Won't budge.
And I just got an email from the meat lady. She's got meat lined up soon. She said if you want a quarter, half, 3/4, a whole cow, she'll still do it.
Also, the guy did say that manager at Keys was actually trying to scalp too.
And he wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, and she forced him with it and told him not to shop at the store.
Oh, well. So, anyways, like I said, everyone, we got a lot of early morning problems. Did you get the dip? Well, let's see it then. I didn't see that in the bag. I've checked all the bags. I also.
No. That's that. And I got some sodas too.
So you got us mint this time.
Man, that's all they had. They said Wednesday they should be restocked.
Well, thanks. So as you can see, let's just talk about this for a minute before I go take a bath. So currently, we have Skull Wintergreen. Now, I don't mind Skull Wintergreen. I do want to say that it is really funny that we are living in a pandemic where the entire dipping market right now is shot, whereas they're having a hard time with dip. So, I mean, literally, Chloe said it herself, So, anyways, so for all you out there, Chloe, are you staying in there? How long are you going to be? Because I wanted to talk to you for a minute. So anyways, as you guys can see from Chloe's report this morning, farmers market is now basically having people that are trying to scalp and, whatever for the local stores. So this does not bode well for the economy. So
yeah, because they want to make money.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be logging off soon to take a bath. So I need to know what dog wants from you.
Well, okay, what do you need to know or involve?
I'm watching him. I mean, I have
no beats for you.
Look, when I ask you a question, I want to talk to you for a minute. It means I want to talk to you for a minute. It means I'm taking a bath, so what's your plan while I'm soaking in the tub, smelling like roses?
I'm going to try to get some cleaning underway.
Good, because this is an early morning video, and then when my video's done and everything else, I want to talk to you privately, too. So
What is it?
I said privately. So, anyways, before I go, everyone, now you got a small update from my part of the woods on the news network from Chloe going out on the field this morning. Tonight we're having organic hamburgers. What? You want some bacon to go with it again?
Sure.
All right, let me get some bacon. So, anyways, like I said, I need to go soon to talk to Chloe. And, but anyways, I wanted to talk to you all out of love for you all this morning, get your video this morning, because I know people are wanting their Rita fix. And like I said, nothing much to report, but I never finished my conversation, so let me finish it up real quick. I know Chloe's telling me I smell, which is true, but, at least she looks after me to a point. So basically, because there's going to be a Cold War between China and Russia, or China and America, Chinese products are going to get harder and harder to make. And people sit there, and because they know that the president keeps prodding China and basically causing trouble for China, one thing China's doing is they're trying to do their damnedest to basically contain this virus. And to do it, they got China in lockdown, which is a great idea. But in doing so, factories can't ship product out. Their containers are overfilling, so they got enough product to ship out, right? Fortunately, a lot of countries aren't allowing cargo ships or container ships or even cruise ships in ports. So basically, if the president decides to do this and other countries decide to work with China, then the other countries will go with China for products, right? However, if the president goes and stirs the stirring of the honey pot too much, as I call it, stirring the beehive with the stick, like the cartoons and stuff, truly, then you could sit there and say, "Ooh, what's that mean? What's that mean, Rita? What's it mean?" Simple. It means that other countries like Samsung, who's based out of Korea, that wants Chinese products made because it's cheaper, because they're basically making money off Americans, will have to say, well, either we're going to have a plant specifically for American trade, which will be like the Philippines, Taiwan, or Korea, or they're going to have, or Japan, which means more rates, or they're going to have to decide to cut American off completely on the cell phone market, or like I said, they're going to have to move their plants, their factories from, say, China, which they like, to Korea. Nintendo could turn around and build factories again in Japan, or they could do Korea, whatever's cheaper, unfortunately, for Switches. Fortunately for the rest of the United States, if they do a Cold War, let's just say, consider the water faucet, right? When the faucet's going at full steam, that's all that cargo and all that money trickling into the country, for all those stuff, right? Like this. The water faucets, it's like opening the dam, okay? And all this stuff goes down, and the water goes down, and it powers up the generators, and the generator powers the electricity, right? But what if you turn around and you're like, close the dam gates and stuff. No water's getting in there, and it's not going. Let's just say they're pissed, right? No water's flowing in, which represents cargo and money. Nothing's going out. The entire country can go that way. Let's make sure it's too short. Then flag my video. So basically what I'm trying to say is, before I go, is to finish this conversation, is China is basically, we're going to see either two things happen. Either companies are going to conform and move out of the country so they can have the biggest industrial power like us, or money-making power, buy products, or two, just to finish this thing, or they'll move, or they'll basically cut us off, which means either we'll have to make deals with other countries, or we're now becoming a third world country due to the fact that the country is the country. Just think about it. I will be back a little later. It's too early this morning, like I said. But think about it. There's a lot we can discuss this morning, and a lot we can discuss. But right now is not the time. It's almost time, as Chloe would say, for me to get off here and take a lovely bath this morning. And so I want to talk to you all about that. But I also want to get on a little bit later after I take a bath and get cleaned up. Because, this morning's been interesting because, no comments this morning, which has been really great. Because without comments, I can actually focus more on talking without having any problems or people bothering me on the fact that, they're trying to find out information or steal information, which they're not really doing. This morning's more about China, which, in my opinion, like I said, which is China, basically, there's a lot of options out there, but I want you guys to think about it. If China turns off the factories for us, where do we turn to for all our needs? I mean, they carry the most biggest debt for our country. And yet, if China cuts us off, we're basically a third world power. Literally, we're going that way, the way things look with the virus.
And then we're going to be constantly watched by doctors.
No, we're not going to be constantly watched. I mean, look, the government, people will start not being able to own phones, and then they're not going to be able to afford this and that. Eventually, the entire cell phone market will collapse. I mean, literally, that's the way it is. And I have a feeling, and I'd like to talk about it in another episode later tonight, possibly. But right now, it's my bath time. So thank you, everyone, for watching. I need to talk to Chloe and get business done. So, I will be back a little later once cleaning's done. We got to clean the kitchen table. We got to clean the kitchen up. We got to reorganize the cabinets. Eventually, once the entire kitchen and living room is done, we're going to be focusing on the closet and the bathroom and the office and Chloe's room. So I will just keep you informed. I mean, literally. I just want to say I'm actually loving this morning because there's no comments. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please add, subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like, subscribe button. Wholesome funding for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for part 2 later today. I have some updates for you then. Thank you so much, and God bless you, and goodbye until later today. Thank you, and hit the bell notification for new content. Leave comments and suggestions. Nice is all we ask. Otherwise, I'll delete it. Thank you, and God bless you and everything you do.
All right, you done?